Alabama News Network presents. Live from the plains of Auburn, Alabama News Network Sports Director Vince Lennon, Sports Analyst John Longshore, counting down the minutes before Auburn and Alabama kicks off their new season. Countdown to Kickoff, presented by Bama Bud, Cliff Davis Homes, Classic GMC Buick Cadillac, Capital Chevrolet, and Trenholm State Community College.
And greetings from the loveliest little village on the plains. We are live here at Auburn, Alabama for the Alabama News Network's Countdown to Kickoff special. Greetings and good evening. I'm Sports Director Vince Lennon, riding shotgun with Jeff Sanders. Jeff, it's been a wonderful afternoon so far. A great evening ahead tonight.
Are you excited for some college football?
I am so ready for this. It's like we've been waiting 9 or 10 months. That's
I know.
all.
And the fans have said that today, too. They have been waiting 9 months. They are ready to go. A big night of football. We have Alabama out in Dallas taking on USC. And, of course, the big game here tonight, Auburn versus number 2 Clemson.
Let's give you a quick synopsis as what's on tap here for our half-hour special. And one of the questions we'll be trying to answer this evening is whether or not, with a new defensive coordinator and an old as new quarterback, is there enough to turn around the Auburn Tigers' fortunes of last season against Clemson tonight? Meanwhile, the expectations at Alabama are always a national championship. Can the Tide repeat? And Jeff, he'll be showing us how some of the fans here in Auburn have been tailgating the afternoon away as time ticks away, all that much closer to kickoff. So, Jeff, there's been a lot of hoopla been made this afternoon regarding the college football season and kickoff, and it's been a good one across the land, if you will. A couple of upsets already.
Absolutely. This was billed as the best opening weekend ever in the history of college football, and I have to tell you, it's lived up to the billing so far.
So let's check in with our resident sports analyst in Montgomery, John Longshore, as to what his thoughts and if there is validity that this truly is the college football kickoff extravaganza and all the hoopla it's going to live up to. Hey, John.
I do think it is the best opening weekend of college football that I can ever remember. Obviously, here in these parts, it's Alabama, Southern Cal, Clemson at Auburn, but there's so many other big games. North Carolina and Georgia in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. You have Oklahoma and Houston tonight. You've got Ole Miss and Florida State on Monday. Texas and Notre Dame on Sunday night. And then, of course, you've got LSU and Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. I just don't think we've ever had so many great games in week one, and it sets the tone for the rest of the year.
John Longshore, obviously LSU surprisingly lost to Wisconsin. Wow. Another one of the upsets, a number of upsets so far. Obviously, that's what Auburn fans are hoping for here tonight.
Absolutely, hoping for an upset. It's going to be a tough battle tonight as they take on the number 2 team in the nation, Clemson. I think easily, in many folks' minds, could be the number 1 team in the nation for sure tonight.
If it wasn't for Alabama special teams in January, I think they would be number 1.
No doubt the best quarterback in the land. I think we all can agree with
That's
that.
A consensus with that. Let's go for more analysis on this and check in with our own Alabama NewsNet sports reporter, Daryl Puckett, who is live here on the Auburn Plains with us. Hey, good afternoon, Daryl.
Guys, Jeff and Vince, thank you. 7-6 overall last season, 2-6 in the SEC, but the Auburn Tigers are playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder going into tonight's game against the Clemson Tigers.
I think if you're a competitor, last year obviously we were disappointed with the way things turned out. And if you're a competitor, you want to do something about it. And, our teams kind of had a chip on their shoulder in the off season, which I think is good. I know our coaching staff. I mean, after the season, you kind of always sit back and you try to evaluate everything and evaluate really, what we could do better. And just kind of went back to my comfort zone of trying to be more hands-on in practice and meetings and everything that goes with that.
Clemson defense is very good. They show a lot of different looks. They show a lot of complex schemes and everything, and that's going to be interesting to pick up, but we have ways of dealing with it.
Talking about a chip on your shoulder, Deshaun Watson is a favorite to win the Heisman this season. Auburn's going to have to find a way to slow him down.
Deshaun Watson, a Heisman candidate, and he's a great quarterback, but I believe if we can get to him, I feel like we can get to a lot of quarterbacks in the league.
Deshaun makes people better just because he's Deshaun Watson right now. So he's playing at a very high level of football. When he scrambles, you gotta stay with your man. You gotta plaster with your man. And if you're in zone, you gotta find somebody to plaster to, you know, so he don't have an easy throw down the field while he's scrambling, because that's probably when he's at his best, when he's outside of the pocket.
Thank you.
Guys, we're only a few hours away. We're talking Auburn and Clemson. Now, if Auburn's going to try to jump back from a season ago and start fresh, it's going to happen tonight against the big #2 team in the country. The Clemson Tigers are here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Kickoff is an ESPN game, 8 o'clock, game of the night. Jeff and Vince, it's going to be a good one.
Thank you so much, Darryl. So, Jeff, respect obviously going here both ways.
So respect goes both ways. You know, these teams may be in the SEC and the ACC, but they do a lot of the same recruiting against each other.
Very familiar with one another.
We caught up with head coach Dabo Swinney with Clemson earlier, and he talks about that recruiting battle, and especially when it comes to Auburn's quarterback.
Yeah, it's a challenge for us. There's a lot of unknowns, new people. One thing I know, they named 13 as their guy, and you know, this kid can really throw the football. I mean, you watch the Arkansas game, just one that sticks out in my mind from last year. He made some not good throws. He made some great throws.
And, Jeff, you have to consider that Sean White was hobbled much of last season. He didn't have the health, if you will, to perform to an optimal level as many would have hoped.
Yeah, he talked about that too. He was not quite ready and on his game last year, and Auburn fans, Auburn coaches, I know, hoping that this season will be a different tune.
So let's break down this upset potential with our resident sports analyst, John Longshore, and his keys to the game. John?
Well, guys, I think Auburn's got a real good shot in this game tonight, but they've got to master these 4 keys, in my opinion, if they're going to come out victorious. Let's take a look. Sean White, he's got to be mistake-free. Last year when he came into games, he was turnover-prone, couldn't get them into the end zone once they reached the red zone. Cannot have that happen tonight. Also, look for this offense to be fast, fast, fast. Last year they kind of got away from that, but I do believe in the spring and in preseason drills, they've really emphasized going back to Malzahn's fast-paced offense. You'll see it tonight. Also, the defense, they got to contain Deshaun Watson. Easier said than done, but I think this Auburn defense is getting better, and I think having some of their key components back, including Carl Lawson, is going to be a huge plus for Auburn. And the crowd, come on, it's got to be loud. They got to stay in the game. They're at home, at night, at Jordan-Hare Stadium. That is a huge plus for this Auburn football program.
John, thank you so much. And, of course, kickoff 8 o'clock at ESPN. And we're just getting started here, right, John?
A lot of fun happening tonight. We're getting ready. And stay with us. We'll be right back here. You're watching Countdown to Kickoff on ABC Montgomery.
Welcome back. You're looking at a live shot here of the loveliest little village on the plains as the Auburn Tigers prepare to kick off the 2016 season against #2 Clemson. And Jeff, you almost got caught. Well, you did get caught in the throng about 20 minutes ago, didn't you?
My goodness. If you have never been to Tiger Walk here, and this is what it looked like earlier as the thousands of fans, if not, I would almost venture to say tens of thousands.
Yeah, I think that's a good estimate. Tens of thousands.
Gus Malzahn and the 26 team walking down Donahue up Heisman into Jordan-Hare Stadium. Fans are excited. It was a disappointing season last year. They have a lot of high hopes for tonight, even if they are facing possibly one of the toughest teams, no doubt about it, in the nation tonight. But you can hear the excitement there and see a lot of orange. You know, orange and blue, that's Auburn, but almost I think it's going to be a bit of an orange out in the stadium tonight. Orange, Clemson's going to have the orange on. It will be a sea of orange for sure here at the stadium.
It's a definite sea of orange all around us, and welcome back. We're here live here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. We're in between gate 10B and 10, and we're, you know, Jeff, we have a pretty good vantage point for some of the future Tigers here, as this is the recruiting gate right outside here.
It is a perfect vantage point for us here, for sure. You got all the fans in front of us. You got walking behind us, and can you just feel it in the air?
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel a lot of things in the air. Kind of thick, kind of hot,
a little hot
and humid.
Yeah.
But then again, it is September 3rd. All right, we've talked so much about the Tigers. Let's not ignore the Tide. Of course, that game coming up here on ABC Montgomery at the top of the hour. Serious travel for Tide fans, and they're going to have to start getting accustomed to this with these neutral site teams in the business of at hand.
Absolutely. Traveling out to Dallas, Arlington to be more precise, out of Cowboy Stadium. But you know the RVs, they're going to be lined up out there ready for the game tonight. Now, we talked to Tide head coach Nick Saban earlier talking about that trip and getting ready for the big game tonight.
Oh, I'd rather play here in Tuscaloosa. So you think I like playing in Dallas better than playing in Tuscaloosa? The issue is getting people to play you in Tuscaloosa that are quality opponents. And then when you do home and home, that means next year we'd have to play in California.
So, Jeff, it's pretty much a business decision in regards to playing these neutral site games in the season opener, the Advocare, back-to-back here in Jerryland. But is the team ready? That's the $64,000 question. And if you hear from Coach Saban and the players, they are ready for the USC Trojans, number 20th ranked team in the country, from Cowboy Stadium and, of course, the start of the 2016 season. Let's hear from a few of those players.
It's great. I mean, just Dallas is a great stadium. You know, I know my family is very excited to be there. They always love it there, and all the other fans too. And as far as just playing against a team like USC, I just think it's really fun and exciting, you know, for week one, just to see kind of where we are as a team going up against a great program like USC.
Definitely an explosive group. You know, their skill players are tremendous up front. They're big, physical, try to dominate the line of scrimmage. So that's definitely going to be a challenge for us this week. But I definitely feel that we're more than capable of answering the call.
So, Jeff, we have the dual quarterbacks. Yes. We have the Bo Scarborough era beginning in earnest, and then we have Tim Williams and Reuben Foster steering the ship defensively for Bama.
It should be a loaded crew returning this year. As you mentioned, the dual quarterback situation, that's what has most Tide fans a little bit on edge this year. Let's go back to the studio now where our John Longshore is standing by with his keys to the game. John.
Well, for the Crimson Tide, they've got a big target on their back. The nation's preseason #1 team going into tonight's game in Arlington, Texas. Look at some keys of what Alabama's got to do to win the game. They've got to let their quarterback settle in. Whether Cooper Bateman or Blake Barnett, let these guys settle in, get into some game situations, and just play their type of game. Also, they have got to establish a running game. There's no Derrick Henry. There's no Kenyon Drake. We've been hearing a lot about Bo Scarborough. We want to see what this guy can do. Damian Harris, the high recruit from Kentucky, will also get some action, as will B.J. Emmons, the highly recruited player from North Carolina. Also, the defensive line. They got to win the battle against what most people think is the #1 rated offensive line in all of football in Southern Cal. But let's face it, Alabama's defensive line, that is where that's been their bread and butter, and they continue to be dominant there. That's going to be a great matchup. And then they got to rattle Southern Cal quarterback Max Brown. This is his first start going up against this Alabama defense. Folks, that's a tall order.
Thank you so much, John. And if you're a Bama fan, you want to stay with us here or keep it on ABC Montgomery tonight as live coverage of the game starts at the top of the hour, 7 o'clock prompt, right after we're through here at Auburn. But stay with us, right, Jeff?
Absolutely, because the anticipation for this game is over the top, and you know what it means? It means tailgating time for these fans as well. I talked to these fans. We'll have that coming after the break. You're watching Countdown.
Welcome back to our live special here from Auburn, Alabama, the countdown to kickoff. You are seeing the fans here between Gate 10 and Gate 10B coming and going, enjoying the sights, the sounds, and Jeff, even the smell, if you will. Fat Boys Barbecue right here in front of us, and I got to be honest, they're just the smell and the aroma of that Boston baked butt. It's getting me hungry.
You know, about 100,000 folks around this stadium tonight, about 85,000 inside, way more outside as well. And earlier today, you mentioned that barbecue, you mentioned that Boston butts there. Plenty of those going on out there. I went out among all the tailgaters out there to see how they're getting ready for the 2016 season.
Fire your grills up, have a good cold beer, and let the good times roll.
Let the good times roll. I tell you what.
I love that man's recipe.
He was so relaxed and so laid back, and they are so ready to go. They're a little nervous about tonight, but I tell you what, a little bit of that liquid courage throughout the afternoon that they were talking about may get them a little more confident as tonight rolls along.
A little cold 12 ounces that never hurt anyone?
Not hurt anyone at all.
Bama Budweiser, there's your free plug. Hey, we got a lot more still going ahead in our countdown to kickoff. Of course, we have Troy, Alabama State, and the Tuskegee Golden Tigers all in action tonight as we celebrate the countdown to kickoff of the 2016 season live here in Auburn. Stick and stay. We're back after the break.
And welcome back to Countdown to Kickoff here at Jordan-Hare Stadium as the fans begin to pour in, getting ready for Auburn versus Clemson kickoff tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm Jeff Sanders along with Vince Lennon. And Vince, I'm excited, you're excited. We are ready for this football season to get underway here in the state of Alabama, but a big day today all around.
Certainly, and we have a couple of local programs that are already in action. Let's give you a quick in-game update and synopsis. Starting off with Troy, obviously Hope Springs Eternal and Trojan Country. Second-year head coach Neil Brown, trying to turn the tables in Troy, and right now they're looking good at halftime. Our in-game update has the Trojans up 30-14 over the Austin Peay Governors. That's a halftime score. Also, Alabama State, they are in the Alamo Dome taking on Texas San Antonio, and your in-game update with the Hornets is good, standing right now 7-6. ASU up over the Roadrunners late in the first quarter. And then, of course, the Tuskegee Golden Tigers and head coach Willie Slater trying to replicate last year's success. They are going to be taking on Clark Atlanta at the Atlanta Quad. That starts here at the top of the hour. And, of course, Jeff, Tuskegee hoping for an encore repeat with that. They shut out Clark Atlanta for their season opener last year.
So we're hoping for fans all around the state, hoping for some big wins today for sure.
Lots of questions that still need to be answered that we will find in Longshore's Lines. That's coming up right after the break, so stay with us here on our live special Countdown to Kickoff from Auburn.
And welcome back to Countdown to Kickoff here at Jordan-Hare Stadium on the Plains in Auburn as the Tigers get ready to take on the Clemson Tigers here, and the fans are beginning to line in and get to their seats and get ready for the kickoff to the Auburn season, Vince, and they're taking on a tough team tonight. It's going to be a daunting task, but just counting all the upsets we've seen so far today, Tiger fans may think they have a chance.
Certainly so, and in our countdown to kickoff, we're now here at 64 minutes, Jeff. So I think it's an opportune time for us to turn back to Montgomery for insight from our inimitable John Longshore, our sports analyst, as to what he believes are Longshore's lines, specifically for Alabama and Auburn. John.
Well, guys, Alabama is an 11.5-point favorite in tonight's game. And, of course,
All right, thanks so much, John. I have to disagree with John. I think Clemson will cover the spread tonight. I think Alabama will have a tough test early, but I think they'll pull away from USC in the end.
And Longshore's lines are for entertainment purposes only. Please, no wagering in the spirit of David Letterman. Hey, Jeff, thanks so much for hanging with us tonight. And thank you for joining us, and thanks to our crew and everyone making this possible. We certainly enjoyed it. We hope you do, and we hope you enjoy the 2016 college football season ahead. And, of course, right ahead on ABC Montgomery, the Alabama Crimson Tide and the USC.
Get connected. Alabama News Network is everywhere you are. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And the Alabama News Network mobile app.
Sports presented by Bama Bud. All hail to the king.